Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What? Why is it every time I turn around? Watch this. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how fear changed my life. So, fear is something I have quite a crazy relationship with because I think throughout my whole life I've been just scared. Like, scared of irrational things, scared of rational things as well, but most of my life was just fear of stuff that never came to happen. And I really feel like I have a very close relationship with fear because most of my life I've just been scared of literally everything, like scared to start, scared to finish, scared to smile, scared to, be happy because something bad might happen after that. And those are all like things that I wasn't able to experience fully because I was always scared that something wrong might happen. And that fear never really let me live my life. I was just always like scared of the next thing until one day it just controlled everything to the point that I couldn't even, I didn't want to leave the room because I was just so encapsulated by this fear that I just decided to, you know what, it's best if I stayed in and didn't do anything with my day so that I don't trigger this fear or I don't, ignite this feeling that I have inside of fear. And that took a lot from me to just get out of. It took me quite a long time, and I think it stems from, there's a couple of things that it stems from when it comes to fear, but the main ones is just your mind and how you view these scary thoughts or these scary scenarios that you come up with. So when it comes to, for example, you want to start something new, like me starting this channel, I was so scared at first because I wasn't sure if this would work out, and I wasn't really ready to start because, well, first of all, if you want to start something that's out of your comfort zone, you're never ready. You just gotta start. I was scared of the consequences of starting a channel. Oh, I won't be able to be consistent with it. I'd get so many people to hate my content. I'd be affected by it. If I'd be affected by the numbers, I'd be like, oh, I need more likes, I'll get addicted to it or whatnot. But I just kept seeing them as excuses. And there was one day where I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. And here I am. So there's two kinds of fear. There is irrational fear and there's rational fear. When it comes to irrational fear, it's just stuff that doesn't make sense. And you're just scared of it because of the feeling it gives you, nothing else. So it could be just a thought that really is just like, oh, I probably shouldn't have thought that. And you just get scared of the thought in itself. For me, it's just a mismanagement of your thoughts. So it's basically just your thoughts being all over the place, and there's this scared feeling that you attached to those thoughts. So it all comes down to you making sense of it and questioning the thought all the way to the point of you not feeling that way about it. Let's use something from my past. So I was scared of notifications. Yeah, I was actually scared of my notifications popping up. And I was like, why do I get anxious when a notification pops up? Why am I like so anxious when that happens? And I just I kept questioning. I was like, okay, so why am I feeling this way? Well, it's because there's that dingy sound. So I put my phone on silent. And then I was like, okay, but why am I feeling this way? Why is it that dinging sound? Well, because the dingy sound may mean that I'm getting a message from someone that I don't want to hear bad news from. Okay, so I don't want to hear bad news from people. What does that mean? That means that I think there is at any point in time where I can hear bad news from anyone. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, it means that maybe like every person that's contacting me is gonna contact me with bad news or something bad happened. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to myself. It's just a self-talk, I guess, basically, and you just keep following it until I found out that I was just scared of hearing or experiencing the unexpected. So what I did was I actually exposed myself to it. I did like a sort of exposure therapy where I just kept pushing myself to have my notifications on and just keep accepting notifications, I guess, until it didn't affect me anymore, until I wasn't scared or anxious anymore. And as irrational as that sounds, that's a fear that I had. I mean, that's a small fear. There are bigger ones, but for this video I'm just gonna stick to that because it sounds so irrational. It's to some people it might be very irrational. So I guess someone might relate to it if they have an irrational fear. And then there's the actual fears of real life scenarios. So for instance, I was scared of flying. I had a fear of flights like no other. I used to actually cry when I flew, but I knew I had to fly. Like I had to fly back and forth from the States to Morocco and from state to state when I was on trips. And I was just like on 7-hour flights and I was just not sleeping. I was just fully anxious, a tight fist under the blanket, I'd remember, and just having a tight fist until I got there. And I was just also not present throughout the whole travel period. The 2 days of traveling, I would not be present. And then I found out that in order for me to beat a fear, I have to actually acknowledge that it's a fear and that fears can be beat or overcome. So when it comes to your fears, you can overcome fear. That's something you really have to accept. And as soon as you acknowledge that, you can move forward and you can take the next step. And for me, it was just meditating on the plane. And now I actually love to fly because I actually meditate on the plane. I can meditate for 7 hours, for an hour, but it's the idea of me being above the clouds, because it's in Headspace. There's a part where it says you need to envision yourself that the sky is always blue, no matter how cloudy it may be down here, but above the clouds it's always calm and sunny, I guess. So I used that as a reference. I used it in my mind. I kept visualizing it and just breathing through it and all that. And it took me 2 flight sessions to completely eradicate this fear. And I was happy and I was surprised that it worked. And I actually do love to fly now, and it's something I'm looking forward to do. And hopefully when I'm traveling I can document my journeys in this channel. And something I've also come across quite a lot is the fear of starting something. People are just scared of starting businesses or starting whatever it is because they're just scared of the consequences once again, and they're just scared of what time they spend starting this thing and it not working. The thing is, you cannot start with a no. You cannot say no to yourself before you start anything. You're not a fortune teller, so you can't tell yourself that, okay, this won't work, so why would I start it even though it's a dream of mine to do? There is no point of you saying that. It just, for me, it just doesn't work. So let's say you want to start a business. Let's say you want to start an apparel business. And you're just not sure because, well, there's the design part, there's the competition, there's the branding, there's the typography choice, there's a lot basically. And yeah, you can overwhelm yourself with this, or you can just start it. You could just go ahead and start, and every obstacle you hit, see it as, okay, this is my first lesson. This is chapter 1. This is lesson 1, how to start branding, or how to launch an apparel business in California. Of course, there's a lot of laws you have to adhere to. There's a lot of things behind it, a lot of components, but you won't know them until you start or until you face them. And You cannot just, close the door before you even touch the knob. You cannot close the door on that idea that you have or dream you have before you even just, turn the knob or just open the door. And I think that's what most people are afraid of. But just see it this way, like your fears, you have to face them in order for them to not be fears. They can still be fears for a couple of days, a couple of months. You can still feel the fear. It's a good thing. But just don't let it take over. Don't let it give you that answer of no. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is actually facing your fear, and it's something you have to do. Like, I think I'd recommend this so much to people I see, because it's just something that it changed my life completely, but I know it'll work. I know it'll work for anyone. So basically what you do is you just go into a room and you sit there. You remove your phone from sight. You can put it in a different room and you just sit there and you go through it. You go through that feeling of fear. You sit there and you ask yourself, why am I scared of this? What's stopping me? And you go deep. You go deep until you find your why. Find out your why. Why do you want to do this? And why is it such a bad idea? I feel like the more you question, the more you come closer to the answer you're looking for. And obviously, no one would know. No therapist out there, no guru, no miracle worker would know, basically, except for you. You would know your answer. You would know why you're scared of something. You'd know why it affects you in that way. But in order to find that, you have to actually sit down, distraction free, and face it. So I know it's not easy to actually just sit there and experience whatever feeling it is that's stopping you from moving on, and the fear in itself. So before you do, motivate yourself. Find something that motivates you. Find something that actually, tell yourself this is basically a life or death situation, because you either live or you survive until you die. And I'd rather take the first option. I'd rather live and die than survive and die. And I think that should be your number one motivator. So go out there today, go do your thing, go face this thing that's stopping you. If you're scared of someone judging you, if you're scared of yourself judging yourself, or if you're scared you're not gonna make it, that's just noise. That's just it's not gonna do anything for you. When facing your fear, don't react, respond. The reason I say respond is because a response takes longer to carry out as a reaction, because a reaction is impulsive. It's something that you don't really think about. It's just your subconscious mind telling you, okay, this is how we've been reacting before and this is how we're going to be acting right now. But a response, you can actually sit there and take time with it. Sit down and really think about, what does this mean? What does this mean for me right now? And the fact that you are questioning it is a big plus. So I guess I'll just leave the video there. There's quite a lot I'm gonna get into fear in future videos. I didn't really have anything specific to talk about about fear. So if you have any fears that you've overcome, or there are any ways that you deal with your fear, you can comment down below and share with anyone who's watching, I guess, your coping skills, I guess, your coping mechanisms, and if you react or respond to fear. And I can't wait to post another video. I guess it'll be another week from now, but I'm gonna try to stay consistent with this, because I'm liking that it's actually pushing me out of my comfort. I am honestly scared of posting every time I post something, but I think with time it'll change. So that's a current fear I'm going to be overcoming in the meantime. So I think that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to hear this dude sitting in front of a lake just go on about fear, I guess. And just enjoy your day, enjoy your week. And I understand that some of you are surviving right now, just getting by right now. I get that. It's tough to go through, but I just urge you to make the decision to just start living. And once you decide that you want to start living, a whole lot can change, and you gotta put in action. If you don't put in any action, you won't see anything back from it. So if you keep repeating the same thing you've been doing before, nothing's going to change unless you change. So go ahead and face it, and just sit with it and question it, and I'm 100% sure you'll get there. So I'll leave you with this. If you try, you risk failure, and if you don't, you ensure it. And with that, don't forget to breathe today, and have an amazing week.